Hey everyone. All right. So I just shoot these with my iPhone. One take is what it is. So I bought a Q43, was it Wednesday or Thursday? The day they came out. I got it from the Leica store LA. I've only been able to shoot with it for like an hour or so. But there's a problem that I want you to know about with if you use filters. Okay? It's not really the camera, it's the lens hood. And especially with this, this camera costs with tax, this camera costs $7,600 in Los Angeles. Yeah, I kind of want to protect the lens as much as possible. So let me show you what's going on. Because for some of you, depending on what you shoot, if you shoot outside at events, where stuff's flying around or whatever, and you like protecting the front of your glass, you're not, and you need the lens hood, you ain't gonna be able to do it. So let me show you what's up. All right, so first of all, both of them together. Man, that's a great combo. Okay, so the original Q, or Q3. Okay, so I got a Breakthrough Technologies UV filter on it, which I use for protection. I really, really like these filters. You can't even tell it's on there. And it cleans really easily. Okay, so here's the thing. Watch. Fits, full regular filter, 49 millimeter on there, no problem. Go into macro mode. Now watch the lens. The lens extends for macro mode. No problem. See that? Perfect. Okay, so you gotta understand, I'll do like a lot of, let's say, hostile events where stuff is flying around. So let's say, okay, I'm at a car hop, which I'm going to Vegas in a couple of days for the Lowrider Super Show, and there's an after hop. Okay, cars are hopping. Boom, car hits, car's hopping, hits the ground, bumper breaks, little pieces go flying everywhere, hits the front of the lens, it's protected, no problem. Okay, that's why I like to use lenses. I'm at a bar. All right, shooting a burlesque show. Which happened before. I was at a bar, shooting a burlesque show. Girl comes out for her performance, pops a bottle of champagne, flying all around. Really, really fun. By the end of her performance, front of the lens got champagne, drying all over it, coated on it. No problem. I can just wipe it off. Okay, that's why I really like to use a filter, protect the front of the lens. Right, especially with these Q cameras, the lens is built into the camera. If I scratch this lens or damage it, I got a brick. Okay, it's useless. I got to send it to Leica. And if you've ever sent anything to Leica, that thing ain't coming back for probably like a year, unfortunately. Okay, so what's great is, and I had the hood. In case I'm outside and it's bright, protects it. Even if I'm in a nightclub at night, if it's crowded, someone bumps into me or whatever, I hit the ground or something, at least that's there to protect it. So that's why I really need both of them. A lot of people use them both. If you shoot out in the desert, dirt bikes or whatever, you're at the beach and sand is blowing around, okay? You do wedding photography and you're at the beach, it's a little windy and sand starts blowing around, you're gonna want something to protect the front of the glass. You just are, okay? All right, and especially let's say sand gets on there and you don't notice it and you wipe to clean it, well, at least if you scratch something, you're gonna scratch the filter. All right, that's why, and plus you need the lens hood. Maybe you're on the beach shooting, at sunset, you need it for that. So Q3, no problem. Q3, Q2 monochrome, Q2s, no problem. Look at that, works great. Now, Q43, here's the issue. This APO lens. Now the lens is great, okay? Here's the lens hood. Now, I don't know if they designed, this lens hood is really shallow. So I don't know if they designed that so it would match the size of this, okay? So they could try and get it the exact same size, or if they just did it this way so it matched the APO lenses that the SL cameras and the M cameras have. I don't know. I think part of it was they wanted to make sure these were almost the same size so people wouldn't complain, oh, it's a little bigger. Well, it's got a different size lens, it might be a little bigger. All right, so here's the issue though. By having such a thin or, lens hood, watch when you go into macro mode. The lens almost goes to the very front of the lens hood. It's fine. If you don't have anything on here, perfect. Works great. But if you try and use a regular filter on here, it will not fit with the lens hood. It won't fit. So people in the forums have tried to use ultra slim filters, but when you put an ultra slim filter on here, when you go into macro mode, you'll hit, so it'll basically stop it. So if you use an ultra slim, let's say UV filter on here, you can't use macro mode. And that's completely stupid, Like I said, with tax, this camera costs $7,600. I didn't spend over $7,000, and especially because of this APO lens, okay, that's a main reason I bought it. I didn't buy it just to have an extra Q, all right? I bought it for this lens. I wanted to be able to use macro mode. So I didn't spend all that money and not to be able to use macro mode. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to decide if having the front of this lens being protected is more important. You gotta take the lens hood off. But once again, you may need it. You're at the beach shooting weddings or whatever photos people shoot at the beach, okay, and it's a little windy. If it's sunny, you're going to want the lens hood to help protect the sun from the sun, and you're going to want a UV filter maybe to keep it in case you don't want sand flying around. You can't do that, so it's kind of a fail. Now, what I did try was, since I'm fortunate to have both of these for right now, is I took this lens hood off and put it on here. I was like, oh, maybe that'll solve my problem. Then maybe there'll be some vignetting. I can live with that. We'll see. This lens hood, when you put it on here, doesn't fit correctly. These Leica lens hoods are designed, and they're actually pretty amazing. When you line them up, they're perfectly lined up. It's hard to tell the writing, but if you own one, it says Leica across it. It's perfectly lined up. So they're made to go, watch, see when you turn it, it stops completely perfect. It's pretty amazing. So anyways, when you put this lens hood on here, it ends up looking like this. That's what the Q3 lens hood on the Q3 43 ends up looking like, okay? So that doesn't work, even if this lens hood worked, I would have bought another one from somewhere and got it, but I can't even use this lens hood because it ends up looking like that. So Q3 lens hood on Q3 43 will not work. Looks like that. So I don't know. To me, that's kind of a fail. Like, didn't anyone think like, hey, and especially like I'm telling you, it's an all-in-one camera. Even people who have Fuji, like I have a Fuji X100, 6 or whatever. That I don't put a filter on because I don't mind. But if I was going to go to the beach and it was sandy or everything or doing shoots, I may throw a filter on the front because just to protect the lens. Because once again, it's a built-in all-in-one camera. So Leica needs to come out with, they could have had this as the standard and then just come out with extended lens hood. Just a hair more so we can put filters on it and it'll work. Redesign this however you need to, but you got to come out with a new lens hood where we can use standard filters and the lens hood. Okay, that's almost kind of a common thing. So that's it. So if you're in the market for a Q43 and in your line of work, you're in places where you need the protection of a filter in front of your lens and a lens hood at the same time, ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have to decide. So from now on, like I shot some cars the other day really quick. It was sunny, so I had to have the lens hood on. I needed it for that. Now it was non-hostile, it was going on static cars, but if I go shoot a show at a nightclub, I've got to decide, do I use the lens hood so I can help protect it from maybe people banging around, but then I got to worry about the front, or do I use the filter and then I have to watch the side, the camera itself from banging into something. It's a massive pain, really. They got to come out with the lens hood. Now, if the filter size itself is 49 millimeters, if anyone knows what the actual diameter of the actual barrel of the lens is, because maybe someone out there makes a hood already that would fit on here that we could use, who knows? Maybe there's some just generic lens hood that's a little bit more extended that would fit a filter in that. I'd go for that, So to me, the hood's just more for protection. So someone get out there and measure what the actual threads are on the sides, and maybe we can figure it out that way. All right, that's it. I'll give you my reviews on this anyways, but I can tell you one thing real quick. 2.8, man, stuff starts looking, I was shooting a couple cars. I saw the photos real quick at 4.5. I was like, yeah, they look good. Okay. But when I saw the photo that was at 2.8, the separation that just happened, oh, it was so nice. I don't think I'm ever going to move this camera past 2.8. It's going to live 2.8 down to 2. All right, that's it. Thanks. Bye.